we're starting in Sukhasana with the thought of pausing and de-stressing and detoxing. What a lovely thing to do in the middle of the week if it works. So before we actually start with a little breath practice, just close your eyes for a second and see how you feel. Maybe take your hands onto your knees and turn your palms up. You might want to put your thumb and index fingers touching the tips if you feel comfortable doing that. And then find your posture first of all, from your sit bones up to your crown. Roll your shoulders back, make some space on the front of your body. And with your eyes closed, just do a quick body and mind scan. See how you feel. It's the middle of the week. It's not as nice as the end of the week. It's the evening, so the day's finished, all the worky stuff, hopefully. So see how you're feeling this evening coming to the mat. What we're saying is just take a moment and pause. Pause with yourself here on the mat. Take a moment and pause and let your breath slow as your thoughts try to rush you ahead. Still your mind and flush away any residual worries and let calmness wash over you. Begin to control your breath now. Start to use the breath to cleanse you. Breathing in for 4, nice and slowly, smoothing it out. And then out for 4, through both nostrils, as long as they're both available to you. Continue with a few inhale, exhales, bringing in the goodness of the inhale and releasing all the staleness with the exhale. Not necessarily bad energy that you release, but stuff that we don't need anymore. So if you're comfortable after your next inhale, inhale for 4 and hold, pause for 2. And then begin your exhale to release. Go back to the inhale straight away when you're ready. I may be in a different rhythm from you, but inhale for 4, pause for 2, exhale, and then return to the inhale. So Puraka is our inhalation. Puraka Khumbaka is when we pause after the inhalation. That little pause when you stop, but you're full of the new energy of the breath. And you hold it in the pot, the Khumbaka. And then you release with the exhale. So see how you feel about this pause. Some people don't really like holding the inhale. It's not really holding, it's more just pausing. It's not gasping. But some people feel a little bit claustrophobic with it. So if it's not for you, just return to normal breathing, to your count of 4. But holding all that goodness in you and pausing before you exhale to clear away the debris. Sometimes we have to be told to pause. So after the next exhale, let go of that pause after the inhale. Just return to your count of 4 in and 4 out. Your nice slow count of 4. Feeling that calmness begin to wash over you. And then you can continue just with that pattern of breathing, or if you want to try it, you can pause after the exhalation this time. So you would inhale for 4, exhale for 4, and then pause for 2 when you're empty. So again, it's not for everyone to do this. They're not always comfortable, but if you want to give it a go and if you like it, continue with that breath pattern of inhale for 4, exhale for 4, pause for 2. So you pause at the very bottom of the exhale when you've released everything you need to let go of, and you just stop, pause, hold for a second. So this is known as shunyaka, which is a suspension of the breath. So it's not about holding or gasping or blowing your cheeks out. It's just about that couple of seconds of pausing and waiting for the inhale to begin. As yogis go, they say this is ultimate bliss. Shunyaka, Khumbaka. It's the ultimate bliss if you can reach that and feel comfortable, but it's not for everyone, as I say. So after the next exhale and pause, if you're pausing, let go of the breath. Let the breath just be. Keep your eyes closed for a second or two. Just notice if that calmness has begun to wash over you. Has your mind begun to still? Are you flushing away any residual worries? So let's come to a little bit of movement now. So if you're sitting on anything, you might want to release it from under your bottom. We're just going to take a few shoulder, wrist and ankle rolls to loosen off those little joints. So let's start with shoulders, doing a little circle in one direction. Ooh, lots of clunking in my case here. So take the circle small to start and then maybe get a little bit bigger. Use your hands on your knees just to support yourself while you're doing this. Remember to keep your tummy engaged to support your lower back. Although we're moving the top half of us, we need to have a strong bottom half. And then go in the other direction. Lift the shoulders up towards your ears and then slowly circle them round in the other direction. A little bit like a bit of a massage here. Still feeling a bit clunky in my case. And then let's take our wrists and give our wrists a little roll through. So all these little joints that we forget about, like wrists and ankles, they hold a lot of tension too. Particularly if you've had to be stuck over a computer all day, or maybe you've had to stand still a lot. You have to remember to keep moving them, to detox them and de-stress them. It's all part of you, remember. And then we're coming to our feet. So stick our feet out in front of us and point and flex to start with, just opening and closing. The bottom of the foot, as you flex it, you're opening. And opening the ankle as you point. And then let's do some frog's legs to work on our legs and hips and knees. So feet together to start with, draw them in towards you, open them out in a big circle and bring them back together again. So I'm leaning back and use my hands as support here. You might have a wall behind you. I did say to use a wall if you want to tonight. Anything that just takes the onus off the rest of you. Once you've done a few circles in that direction, go the other way. So you circle out the straight legs and then bring your heels in towards your bottom, back together. So the energy you're feeling now in the joints that you're moving, and the circulation that you're moving, is detoxing you. It's de-stressing. It's getting rid of staleness that was sitting in those patches of you. Bring your feet back together. We're going to come up onto our knees now. So sitting back on our heels, if that's comfortable. We're going to go up and down from here and do a little bit of a series of movements here. So I'm just going to take my jumper off because it's going to be very hot otherwise. So we're going to start just with lifting up onto our knees, rolling up, taking the hands in front of us parallel and extending, drawing the tummy in to support the lower back, moving the hip flexors forward, exhaling back down. So we're inhaling up, exhaling down. Take one more. Breathe in deeply as you lift up. Exhale through your nostrils, nice and slowly as you move back down. This time we're going to do cat-cow. So put your hands on your knees to start with and roll forward through your chin and you lift your tummy up and roll down, opening the back of the shoulders, come into the cat back. Still got the bottom on the heels here. And then we're going to roll forward, and as we do, we're going to roll up onto our knees, take the hands up in front of us again, parallel hands, lift them above us, and come into a bit of a cow back here. So do engage the tummy muscles though, but moving the hips forward, rolling back down on the exhale, come back down to sit on your heels, roll into the cat back. Take one more up into cow. And release back down. Going to come up now, parallel hands again. If you want to take one hand down to your side, you can. We're going to side bend, or you can take both hands together into Kali Mudra. So clasp the hands, pointed finger above your head. Oops, maybe a bit close here. Inhale tall, lift up through that middle, those index fingers, sorry, and exhale over. If you've got one hand to the side, we're going over to the right here. Inhale back up to the top. Exhale there, inhale tall again, lift up through the crown, over to your left armpit to hip. Don't go too far, remember, keep that engaged feeling on the side body, don't throw yourself over, back up to the top, exhale there, disengage the fingers, roll back down. So we're going to pause on all of those now. So we're going to start with a cat back, so inhale tall, through your crown, and then roll forward as you exhale into the cat back. And pause, hold there and breathe. So take a couple of breaths here. Try and make your body light. Try and open up through the shoulders. Try and let the shoulders soften a little bit. Might feel a bigger stretch then. Keep the chin a little bit engaged so that your head doesn't get too heavy. And keep the tummy engaged just to support your lower back. And then inhale and rolling forward, we're going to lift up into our cow position and hold, pause. Again, couple of breaths here. Don't force yourself backwards. Make sure you're not overdoing the back bend. But inhale, exhale here. Using the inhale to lift up your heart, draw your tummy in, move up through your knees. Exhale, just soften a little bit, taking the shoulders down. Take a couple of breaths here in this pause. Really enjoy that space. Don't force it. Just let your breath move your body. And then roll back down slowly, straight back into neutral, heels down, bottom down to heels. We're coming up for our side bends now. We'll pause on these. So lift up first of all on an inhale and exhale there. Decide if you're going to go two hands or just one hand. We're inhaling long. And we're exhaling and we're going over to the right. And then we're pausing. So stay there, take a couple of breaths. As you inhale, move and open your left side body. Engage that armpit to hip on the right side. Draw the tummy in, draw the bottom under. Don't forget to exhale. I didn't put that one in. So inhale, exhale, inhale. We're just moving and opening slightly more. Exhale, we're just softening, releasing. When you're ready, inhale back up to the top. Exhale at the top. We're going to the other side now, same thing. So inhale through your crown down to your knees. Exhale, armpit to hip. Either one arm or both arms above your head. Pause at the side, breathe. As you breathe, think about taking your shoulders back slightly so that the elbows would be out your peripheral vision. And then think of softening your shoulders down the back of your body a little bit on the exhale. On your next inhale, come back up to the top. Exhale your arms down, sit back down onto your heels. I'm going to do that again without the pauses, and then we're going to add in a modified, can't speak tonight, a modified low lunge. So everybody, I would suggest we come into that position rather than a full low lunge. I'm just going to move the video a little bit because otherwise I'm getting a bit close to you. Okay, so we start again. We breathe in, we're going to take both hands just up and extend above our heads. As we exhale, we soften, and we're going to round down into that cat back now, straight down into it. As you inhale, we're going back up again. I might be going at the wrong speed for you, take your own time. Open up the heart, come into your cow shape, your back bend here slightly. And then exhale back down. Coming up for the side bends now, so inhale up, find your arm position that you want to do, one arm or two. Inhale long, exhale over to the right, armpit to hip. Inhale back up to the top. Exhale there. Inhale long again, through from your knees, lift up. Exhale, armpit to hip on the other side. Take it nice and slowly on the breath. Inhale back up to the top. Exhale the arms down. Going to step forward with the right foot into our modified low lunge. So hip over the knee on the back leg here. And we're just going to inhale, take the arms parallel in front of us, roll them up, and then roll open into a back bend slightly. So you're taking your shoulders back a little bit and heart up towards the top corner. Pause. So breathe here. So think about keeping your shoulders down a little bit away from your ears. Think about keeping that strength through the feet, the front foot and the front of the back foot. Lift up a little bit on your inhale if you can through your feet. When you exhale, soften slightly. Take one more breath wherever you are. Exhale, draw the arms back down to the side. Bring your knees back together and then step forward with your left foot. Do the same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, inhaling the arms up above the head. Exhale. Once you've reached there, maybe on the inhale, you find that bigger back bend now, lifting the heart up, drawing the feet downwards through the mat. Find some rebound. Try and find a softness too as well. So think of inhaling energy, exhaling, releasing. And then release the hands back down on the next exhale. Bring the knees back together. Sit back on your heels. And we'll do that all again without the pauses. You'll need your bricks for the next part we're going to go into. So have your bricks nearby you if you've got them ready. Put them just beside you at the front of the mat. And we can bring them in when we need them. When you're ready, we're going to go again. Inhale, open up, lift up, just extension. Exhale, roll down into cat. Sit back onto your heels. Inhale, lift up again when you're ready on your own breath. Open up the heart into that cow back shape. Exhale back down, roll back down. If anybody's feeling this on their knees, you can't stay seated. You don't need to come up onto your knees. Bring yourself arms above head or one arm ready for your side bend. Inhale tall, exhale over to your right. Inhale back up to the top. Exhale. Inhale tall again. Make sure both knees are staying grounded on the floor as you fold over to your left. Inhale back up to the top again. Exhale, if you're rolling through your knees, we're taking the arms down and sitting back down. We're taking the left foot forward this time into a low lunge. And we're rolling the arms up through, lifting up into extension and then through into that heart opening back bend. And then roll the hands back down. Step that front foot back. Step the other foot forward. Same thing, inhale, lift up, roll, open the front of the body as you reach and then open it. Exhale, take the arms back down. We're going to step back, knees together, and move the left foot forward again into the low lunge position. Bring your bricks in. Now you can keep the knee a little bent at the front, or you can walk your foot forward and roll up onto your heel if you'd like. We're keeping that hip over knee at the back. Long front body, draw your tummy in, find that hip hinge on the left leg here. Draw it back a little bit so your hips become a bit squarer rather than the leg shooting forward. And then when you found all those alignment cues, draw up through the crown, draw your hat forward slightly and fold gently over that leg. Now it's quite powerful, so if you need to, fold that front knee. Don't have the leg straight if it's feeling it too strong in your hamstring. Hold, pause, just for a moment. Take a few breaths here. Try and soften into it. Try and use your exhale. Try not to force through the knee. No locking. Just a gentle opening. If you soften your knee a little bit more, you'll find it's a lot easier on the back of the hamstring. And then when we're ready, we're going to roll up. So we're drawing up, nice long front body again. Back up to the top. Keep your hands on your bricks for stability. Move that leg back, move the other leg forward. Same thing, other side. So decide, you might have different hamstrings, so you might have to go bent knee, foot and floor with this one, but you might can roll through onto your heel. You decide how it feels, but please take it slowly and easily. So find that right hip joint, draw it back again so that your hips feel a little bit squarer. Draw up through your crown, draw in through your tummy, draw forward through your heart, fold and then exhale as you move forward. Pause. Don't go too far forward, it's stronger the further you go. So if it's too strong, draw yourself back up a little bit. The more weight you put over your leg, obviously, the stronger it is on the back of your leg. So here we're pausing. Try and find that inhale, moving forward, lifting feeling, and then exhale, releasing, letting go of anything that we don't need. Obviously not support. And then inhale, come back up to the top. Bring the knees back together. Keep one brick handy, you'll need now, possibly. We're going to come down onto all fours. We're going to sweep the right knee off the mat and come up into gate. So you're rolling the right knee round. You're coming onto your right hand and coming up into gate. And we want to bring ourselves right up into gate. So you've got your alignment over your bent knee. I tend to move my foot inwards so that I've got the long edge to stop myself moving here, but you might find your foot wants to go the other way here. It depends on your hips, really. Okay, so when we're here, we're going to take a side bend towards the straight leg. So we're going to inhale the right arm up, and we're going to pause to be ready. Inhale, exhale over, armpit to hip, using your other hand to just slide gently down, not putting a lot of weight through it into your leg, but just as a little bit of support mindfully, really. And when you're there and you're pausing, think about rolling that top shoulder open and finding an opening across your collarbones. Think about pressing gently through the bent knee that's on the floor, lifting up a little bit more, and then maybe you can reach a little bit further on the inhale next time with your hand. If that's too strong, keep the arm down, keep it behind you, but do try and think about opening up that top shoulder. So we've breathed and paused here for a second or two. Inhale back up to the top, bring the right arm down, bring your knees together. We'll just go into gate from that position. So we're just really taking the other leg out. So make sure this hip though is over the knee. And as you can see, if you look at me, you can't see my foot. It goes directly behind. There's no sort of angle there. Okay. So tuck the tummy, find that little pelvic tilt to support here. You'll find your hip flexor opens a bit more then. Use this arm as support. Inhale the left arm up. We're going over to the right and pausing. So inhale, exhale over. Just where you're comfortable. Again, think of the top shoulder. Think about the arm. If you're comfortable with it above your head, then think of reaching on the inhale and finding that real reach from your knee up through to your fingertips. And then pause. And use your exhale to find that release. So there's still some stability obviously got to be here. But what we're thinking about is releasing any tension building. Letting go a little bit. I'm going to inhale that arm back up to the top. Exhale it back down. Bring that other leg in. Come back into your tabletop. We're going to come up here into down dog. First of all, so from tabletop, find your strength and your alignment in your arms, particularly here. Tuck your toes, lift your knees gently off the floor, move your hips up towards that back corner, push away as if you were stuck behind the door with your hands and really push through. Bring yourself up, knees bent, heels off the floor, but think about reaching away with your sit bones and finding a long body, long arms. Let the head dangle and pause. Pause here. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but pause and try and find the softness in it. Try and find the comfort in it. And breathe. All that circulation is moving in a different direction. Here it's an inversion, obviously. We're going to walk forward now from this into a really soft forward fold. So in forward fold, this is where I said you could have a wall. You might have to shuffle to find the wall to support you if you need it now. Or you can bring your bricks in beside your feet and use them with your hands. So we've got really bent knees to start with. And then we're just going to gently roll the hips up a little bit to open up the backs of the legs. Don't need to get up straight. You definitely don't need to be locked. But what you're thinking about is that Khumbaka, that pot that we held the breath in at the beginning, the pot in your pelvis basically. Think about tipping that forward as if you were trying to pour out anything in there that's stagnant and stale. Think about moving the pelvis forward so that everything can just pour out downwards. If you need a wall behind you, it's quite nice to have it just to support you while you do this. You may not need the bricks with your hands, you might be comfortable in this, but otherwise just take something for support if it's helpful, so that you can just get rid of anything that you don't need downwards and outwards. Use that exhale again to release on the exhale. You might can find tiny little movements as you move downwards. So this is an inversion. Remember, if anybody ever feels dizzy, they should bring themselves out of it gently by bending knees. We're all going to come out now, but we're going to sink our bottoms slightly. We're going to look, open our eyes if you haven't, look along the floor. Pop the hands onto the shins and slowly trail them up in a roll up to the top. So as you roll up, start to look along the floor and up the wall in front of you. Let your body and the front body just gently open, roll the shoulders back, tuck them behind you, turn the palms forward and come into Tadasana. Okay, so take a couple of breaths in Tadasana. We're going to move into just a couple of openers here. One of the options is going to be Trikonasana, triangle. If that's not for you tonight, you can bend the knee rather than straighten the front leg, so that it's more of a that shape rather than a full triangle shape. Please don't push yourself through it tonight. We're thinking about releasing, not tightening. Okay, so before we do that, let's just move our weight into our left leg. Think about drawing that left hip towards the center, so we've got a nice strong left leg, and then draw the right knee up into half Apanasana standing. So either hand behind thighs or in front of the shin. Wherever it is, then think about rolling out the front body. So drawing the thigh towards you, but rather than you towards the thigh. So think about trying to draw up nice and tall through the crown, and then squeeze that thigh towards you. So just breathe normally here. It's not about in and out tonight. We're just trying to compress through that hip joint there, through the front of the hip joint, through the hip flexors that we talk about. So the right leg's getting squeezed in the front. So that's causing a bit of a dam effect there. And often anything that's got stuck in there, we're now going to flush it out. And just gently releasing that leg, moving the hand down the ankle and turning the leg the other way. So draw your knee towards the other knee, draw your thighs together, let your right knee move downwards towards the floor. And you've got a hold of your foot or your trousers or your shin or something behind you just to hold it there gently. So now think about squeezing that right glute and feel the opening on the front of the right hip flexor and possibly down into your quads. Draw up through the tummy on that side particularly. Whoops. And balance. And then release that foot to the floor. And just close your eyes for a second or half close them and notice the difference between the front of your right pelvic area and into your leg and the left one. So obviously the left one's been tensing to hold you. The right one should feel nice and supple, flexible, open, detoxed basically. Let's do it on the other side. So move into the right leg now, find that center line with your hips so it's not sticking out to the side. Draw the left leg up, find where you want your hands, and then think about rolling, opening the front of your body. Draw the thigh a little bit closer so that you can feel that compression in the front of the left hip. And breathe just normally. Focus on that spot that feels compressed. Focus on what's happening there. How it feels that everything's just stopped, can't get through, it's stuck. And then we're going to run the hand down the leg, turn round, bring your knees together, thighs together. Left knee now moves down towards the floor, so you get that stretchy feeling at the side here. Draw up through your side of your left body, through your tummy area, so that you can really feel the opening here in your left hip flexor. And squeeze that left glute forwards. And breathe. And then release that leg. Close or half close your eyes again for a second into Tadasana. Just notice what's happening around that area that we've just worked on. Should feel like there's a bit of turbulence going on there now, maybe a bit of heat and energy. Okay, so we're going to go for some balance here, pausing to find some balance. So we're going to go for Robin Hood in tree. Bring in a brick if you want to put your foot in it, keep your toe in the floor if you'd rather, or bring your foot to the side of your calf. If you really want to go for it, bring it up to your thigh tonight, then do so, but I'm not. But if you have your foot up at your thigh, watch that you don't then kick your hip out, because that tends to be what happens. Everybody goes for the big part of the right leg, but forgets what's happening on the left side. So make sure you've got that glute attached to the center line on the standing leg. And then think about squeezing that right glute so that you open up the inner thigh a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to try Robin Hood for balance here. Finding balance, pausing to find balance in our life we're thinking about, but obviously this is a physical challenge. So hands out in front of us, parallel at shoulder height. We're going to draw the right elbow back, the same one as your folded leg. And then we're going to begin to turn with it. Maybe watch that right hand as the left one stays forward. You can maybe watch your right hand go round and notice how balanced you feel tonight. Open up in a big stretch across your collarbones, across your upper chest. Keep that balance. And then bring the hand back round in a semicircle, nice and slowly. Take the hands down, swap legs. Might want to have a little shake out in between. So move into your right leg. Watch your right toes aren't getting involved. Remember, it's that triangle on the base of your foot that we're working with. Squeeze that right hip across towards the center line. Bring the left foot into whichever position you've chosen. And then think about opening this inner thigh by squeezing the left glute so that it pulls that leg slightly back and out. Okay, so Robin Hood, arms out, same thing. So inhale, draw the elbow back as you inhale if you're going with the breath. We exhale and we open. Might be different on this side. You might be having to use the wall to support you. Might be a little wobblier. Might be the stronger side. We're not completely balanced and symmetrical. Just about trying to find that balance. And then bring the hand back round. Drop the hands down gently. Okay, so we're going to move into Trikonasana. You might want to bring a brick in here. We're going to go into it in an easy fashion, but we're going to pause in it and hold. As I say, you can do this with your leg and keep it quite bent, the front leg, if you want. So we're going to come out. This foot is facing towards the short end of the mat. The other foot is kind of in position for kind of warrior two. It kind of points that way rather than out the way. You've got your heel going backwards. So I'm going to start with my knee bent. I'm going to turn. No, I'm not going to turn. I'm going to find that brick. I'm going to move it slightly forward of my foot, possibly. You'll find it when you get there. Then I'm going to straighten that leg. No, I've got to bring it backwards. It should be just inside your foot, obviously. So I'm straightening my leg. You may still be bent. For those that are trying to go for the full pose, we just gently press into the front foot. We don't lock that knee, but we draw back again with that right hip slightly. And then we're thinking about the Robin Hood arms. So we're taking our left arm up and we're opening. So as I say, your front knee might still be bent. You might not be using the brick. You might want to use your shin. You might not want your top hand up. You might want to take it down behind your back. Again, the point is to use that hand or arm to try and open up that top shoulder. To try and open up the whole of the front body wants to rotate and face forward rather than down towards the ground. So we've paused here for 2 or 3 breaths already. Take another couple of breaths here and try and find that length in the inhale and that slight release on the exhale. Let everything pour down from the top hand right down to the bottom fingers. And then draw that top hand down, soften the front knee, push off the front foot, switch feet round so that you're pointing your left foot towards the short end now. Move the brick. Make sure your feet feel correct before you go into it. Have the front knee slightly bent as we go into it. Hand on the brick in the front. Draw or push gently through that front foot. Everybody draw that left hip, back a little bit. Even if you're not straightening the leg, think of moving the hip back a little bit. And then take your right hand and we just gently open up like we did in Robin Hood. Very easeful, very odd way maybe for you to go into Trikonasana, but an easeful way. Inhale, exhale here in your own time. So see if you can make this really work for you. It's not about stretching and pushing and forcing. It's about gathering. It's about clearing channels. It is about opening the way for the energy to move through, maybe from your back foot up through that leg, through the hip, right up to your armpit and up through to your fingers. Maybe from your other hand, from the brick that it's pushing and supporting itself on, right up through to the shoulder, right through your body and up to the top fingers. Find the open channels. Let that circulation flow. And then allow that top arm to just gently come down. Let the front knee soften carefully. Push off the front foot. Back up to standing. And we're going to take a roll down to the mat to finish there. So if you need to grab socks, jumpers, anything, blankets, anything you want to finish with tonight to warm yourself, rather than cool down too quickly in Shavasana, pop them on, and when you're ready, roll down carefully by tucking chin, tucking tummy, softening knees, hands rolling gently down the front of the legs, trailing down, hands to the floor. I'm going to step back. In my case, I'm going to step back into plank. You might want to step back into full or half plank, or even tabletop. And then we're just gently going to lower down to the floor, everybody. Come for a second or two now into Sphinx. So get your elbows under your shoulders, hands moving forwards. Widen the legs, everyone, tonight. Just take the easier option. Draw the pubic bone, pelvis bone in towards the floor. Draw the tummy up off the floor. Move the heart forward slowly between the arms. Lift away from your shoulders. So you're looking slightly ahead of yourself here. And then find your breath. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. Inhale, exhale, take 2 or 3 breaths here, just enjoying that openness on the front of the body here. That connection with the ground. The space for things to move around. Right down to your big toe, right up to the crown of your head. And things move freely. And then we detox. We get rid of all the stuff that was sticking in corners. Move the energy around. Good energy, positive energy, which makes us feel good. Slowly allow yourself to come down to the mat with your forehead on the mat. And then rotate onto your back. So before we go into Shavasana, listen to your body now. Might be that you want to do windscreen wipers. It might be that it needs to go into Apanasana and have a bit of a rock and roll from side to side. It might be that you want to stretch out down one side, and then the other. Might be that your hips want to rotate in Apanasana. Decide what your body needs before you come to stillness. Just release anything else that's stressing, that's tense, that's holding, that's blocking you. And then when you're ready, put your feet on the floor, stretch away, come into Shavasana. So let your feet fall out, let your shoulders tuck under and your palms turn up. Give yourself some space across your collarbones. Tuck your chin, lift your head gently and see if you can find another millimeter on the back of your neck before you place your head back down. Your legs fall out and your pelvis rotate outwards. Let that space between your pelvic bones, your belly area, just sink down towards the back of the mat, to the mat rather. Cover yourself. I hope you already have covered yourself if you need to, but just release now. Let everything go. Let everything move downwards. All those little joints that want to release, let them open. let them fall out. Let them turn, let them twist, let them settle where they want to be. Try not to hold on to fingers, try not to hold on to jaws. Just let everything find its own natural place. Place of comfort. And watch your breath again. Don't control it, just watch it. So to finish, I'm going to do a little reading. I tried to find one to suit it, but I couldn't. So I've made one up myself. So this is my take on pausing, de-stressing, detoxing, Sauca, spring cleaning. Take a moment and pause. Let your breath slow as your thoughts try to rush ahead. Still your mind and flush away any residual worries. Let calmness wash over you. Take a moment and pause. Sweep away stale energy. Brush out the dust and the debris from hidden corners and find peace in your stillness. Take a moment and pause, closing doors on past and future, and rest here in the present. Exhale and empty yourself of anything toxic. Breathe in. Breathe in clarity, positivity, and goodness. Take a moment and pause and allow yourself to soak in the tranquility of being here. Shake off any shadows that linger. Bathe in the lightness of the space now within and around you. Take a moment and pause. Replace the order and the balance. As the silence runs through like a warm stream, cleansing your mind, body, and soul. So for those that want to stay in Shavasana, please do so. I'll be switching off in a second. Otherwise, those that are moving onwards with me, have a stretch, have a rock and roll, do what you need to do before. Don't just jump up. Take your time, pause before you get up and ready to finish the evening for you. Hopefully everybody feels a little bit lighter after that class. I certainly feel a little bit better. Might just be in mind, or it might be in mind and body, or it might just be in body. But as long as we feel better after our 45 minutes, that's the whole point. So thank you everybody for coming tonight, and see you tomorrow morning, hopefully, or next week, Callie. Have a good one, and namaste.